So I didn't think that this would be a name we would ever make a video about. But off the heels of our Vancouver and Ottawa update yesterday, I think it's only appropriate to go out there and explore some of the hottest Ottawa stories. And in particular today, we had ourselves a roster move that many Sens fans have responded to, some in a melancholic way, others in a sort of angry way, but everybody is looking at this move and looking at this player and acknowledging just how he might have saved the season. This show is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Go out there and check out Express if you want to save some money on your VPN, get some free months, and support this YouTube channel all in the process. But earlier this afternoon, the Ottawa Senators on their Sens Communications Twitter account tweeted out that goaltender Leevi Merilainen has been loaned to the Belleville Senators. And you can see this tweet here has almost 100,000 views. And it shouldn't really have 100,000 views, right? It's a goalie, fourth-string guy who got sent down to the AHL. Why is this a big deal? Why is everybody talking about this? Well, it's because if you've been paying attention to the story of Merilainen and you've been paying attention to the Ottawa Senators' goaltending situation, it's really difficult to ignore what this guy has done. Merilainen is a 22-year-old rookie goaltender, 6'3", 185, a left-handed catching guy who is signed on till the end of this season on his ELC. He was drafted by the Senators in the 71st overall spot in the 2020 NHL Draft. He was a third-round draft pick that unfortunately did not have any scouting reports nor scouting projections in that 2019-20 season. He was a guy playing out of the Karpat junior team, both in its U18 and U20 capacity, where the league is so obscure, you don't even have goals against average numbers in his draft-eligible year. You just have the save percentage. He had a .942 save percentage in 19 games with the U18 team, and a .908 in 16 games with the junior team. Merilainen then, after getting drafted, spent some more time in Finland. He went over to the OHL in the Kingston Frontenac system, where he had an .891 save percentage in 53 games played. Still had a winning record though, 31-16-5. He made the playoffs, and he was a goaltender for Team Finland at the World Juniors. Merilainen did not really showcase anything too significant in the Ontario Hockey League back then as a 19-year-old goalie. The seasons after, you saw Merilainen bounce up and down between the Karpat and the Liga, and the Ottawa Senators and the NHL, and the Belleville Senators and the AHL. Last season, too, he didn't even get himself a cup of coffee with the Ottawa Senators. He had 24 games with the Belleville Sens in the 23-24 year, and he had 13 games with the Allen Americans in the ECHL. This was a guy who, for all intents and purposes, was just a prospect goalie who didn't really showcase anything significant, especially when you think about the Ottawa Senators and their goaltending situation. Hey, Joonas Korpisalo kinda sucks. Mans Sogard isn't really playing. Anton Forsberg isn't really holding his own either. Kevin Mandolese was on the team for a portion as well last season. And so the Ottawa Senators were in a really difficult spot with their goaltending last year. This season, the problem was supposed to be addressed with the addition of Linus Ullmark. You had Anton Forsberg, who would start to slowly bounce back. I mean, Forsberg has had a few shutouts here and there this season, but his save percentage is an .893, which is only slightly better than what he had accomplished last year. But when you think about the goaltending battle in Ottawa, you think about how Linus Ullmark got put on the shelf for a back injury, and you think about how this Sens team has needed guys to step up, with Anton Forsberg also missing some time. Enter Leevi Merilainen, who was forced to play with the Ottawa Senators this season, who, after playing in the ECHL last year, was the last hope for a Sens team that had so many goaltending injury problems that you had guys coming in and coming out and starting games in the first period and getting removed and then coming back in the third periods and everything. It was a total disaster for the Sens at certain points throughout November and December. But in the midst of all of that, you had Leevi Merilainen step in here and post up 3 shutouts in 12 games played. .925 save percentage, 219 goals against in 12 games. He is 8-3-1, and yesterday, Leevi Merilainen had himself yet another shutout, a 6-0 victory against the Minnesota Wild. Now, hey, I get it. The Minnesota Wild are not as strong as they have been in the past. They're missing Kirill Kaprizov, they're getting guys slowly coming back, and the team has been up and down the past little while here. But Leevi Merilainen, you think about the stint that he has been on. I mean, in late December, early January, the guy gets forced to play in the National Hockey League. He posts up one good game, a .968 save percentage, 3-1 win against Minnesota. Had a few stinkers in the other ones there. Still getting some wins against Vancouver, for example, but he has an .840 save percentage in that game. Then in the middle of January, Merilainen starts 5 games in a row for the Ottawa Senators, and he posts shutouts against the Pittsburgh Penguins and the New York Islanders. In between that, okay, a 9-6-2, 1-0 loss to the Washington Capitals. He's got a 9-2-3, 3-2 win against Dallas. And then, unfortunately, he kind of craps the bed a little bit against the Bruins and the New York Rangers. You don't like to see the guy give up 5 goals against in a game, but he did that in back-to-back games. And then you see yourself the rest of the stint over here, a 971 save percentage, 3-1 win against Utah, and then the 16 save, 6-0 shutout against Minnesota. This dude, in 12 games played with the Sens, was good enough to give this team 17 points. That is way over 500. The guy helps the Sens get more wins than losses, and now that Linus Ullmark is fully back, you have Anton Forsberg and Ullmark ready to take on the crease as the 1 and 2 one more time. Merilainen served his duty. He played extraordinarily well in the NHL, and now he's getting sent down. And here's the thing. There are some people in the replies of the Sens communications tweet asking, like, how do you not waive Forsberg and keep Merilainen? The guy's 10 times better than Forsberg and is well-deserving. Unreal. And realistically, I think it's more so about security. If you waive an Anton Forsberg, they will probably lose him out for nothing. If the Sens were in a spot where they really wanted to keep Anton Forsberg, then okay, don't send him down on waivers, straight up, like keep him on the team. Sure, you can say that Merilainen is better, but Merilainen is also 22 years old, and he's only got 14 games of NHL experience. This is not an NHL bona fide backup just yet. And I say just yet because, I mean, if there is another stint where, let's say, a goalie gets injured, which, of course, because of how vulnerable Ottawa has been in that department this season, you definitely want to think about, because that position has been so up and down with names coming in and out of the lineup, you don't really want to lose out on anybody for free, nor do you want to put anybody in a spot where they're forced to play more than they really should be able to. I mean, Merilainen was awesome in the games that he played, but there was a stint in January where he played a back-to-back, and he played the extra 3 games after that. That is not ideal for a goaltender, let alone a goalie who is only 22 years old making his debut in the National Hockey League. I mean, yeah, the backup in Ottawa during that stint was, who is it, Mads Sogard? Zach Dietz? You don't want these guys playing, pretty much. So, ultimately, Leevi Merilainen, with the way he has been able to string together results, string together points for this Ottawa Senators team, a lot of these games, and the wins especially, have put them in a better spot of making the Stanley Cup playoffs than anybody could have predicted. Right now, the Senators have an 81.1% chance of making the playoffs via MoneyPuck.com. That's higher than the Tampa Bay freaking Lightning. It's higher than the reigning President's Trophy winning Rangers. It's higher than the Bruins. The Ottawa Senators have really put themselves into this playoff race, and Leevi Merilainen is a guy that I think you should say thank you to if you're looking for the main reasons why. So, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Merilainen and the way that he has played for Ottawa this season. What are your thoughts on the team sending him back down, loaning him to Belleville? I mean, it's a loan, right? It's not like he's totally gonna be there for the rest of the season, right? I don't know. Maybe there's a trade. Maybe somebody gets sent down on waivers. But for now, the guy's down there in the AHL because he's able to go there without any consequences, and I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comments about his play in the National Hockey League. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.